players were back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.
What a crack! Oh, crack!
You gotta love drag racing. A quarter mile of insane horsepower and speed. We love it as much as you do. So, here is round 3 of the NZRA Nationals from 2010.
Century Batteries, Century Uasa, powering the New Zealand Drag Racing Summer Series. The Century Uasa Power Series heads south for round 3, the midway point of Powerbuilt International Raceway at Ruapuna Park. It is an important round for the North Island racers as they receive the bonus points for travelling across the straight. A chance to catch up on the points dominance the South Islanders bring into this meeting. It's the Digger Southern National. Here we are for round 3 of the Power Series. Weather and track, Gavin?
Hot as. This is a stunning day here in Christchurch and the track, good heat in the track. I'd expect the forecast to change a wee bit. We're going to run into early evening, so the times may go up, but we're very, very conscious of the hills and the weather coming in.
Interesting number 1 qualifier in Top Door Slammer.
Yeah, Mark Thomas hasn't been out for the season, only one run previously just at Taupo, come out on the track today and run a stunning 660 in the Big 4 custom line.
First comp meeting, number 1 qualifier at 196 mile an hour.
Yeah, look, really, really happy. Wasn't expecting that. Had a bit of an educated guess, I'd say, with the clutch and a little bit of help from a good friend. And yeah, very, very happy. Team's very happy. Hopefully, come finals time, if we're still in the competition, the air will be a lot better, and the track temp should still be there. So you might see faster times out of some of the other guys, and also top alcohol as well.
And of course the number 2 qualifier, Ross Taylor, took him a couple of runs to get it, but he certainly got on song, also a mid-6.
Yeah, we're scratching for a win this time, all out, I've been told. Had a bit of a hard time down at Taupo with getting off the line, and of course the tyres don't want to get that coefficient of friction. The clutch is not going to work, nothing's going to work, and that's the end of it. But yes, we're going to go hard today, apparently.
Problems, unfortunately, for winner from Taupo. Harry Hunt in the 69 Camaro had all sorts of problems during early qualifying. Out of shape and put a lot of stress on that race car. The crew working on the back end of the car to try and straighten it up, but I think they got problems.
We just found a little crack in the diff housing and we had to repair it, which we've done, and we've reassembled everything and we're ready to go again. We need to be a little bit more conservative on what we're going to do now, so we just got to be careful. It's significant for the meeting, of course, because it sets us back. We're on the back of the field, go back and have a rethink on how we're going to hold this stuff together. We're making a lot more power than what we really estimated, and we wound the wick up today, as we said we would, and it's told us what we need to do for next time.
But the man who has dominated top alcohol at the Digger Nationals is the Digger dragster, John Nealon. He's done just 1 run today, and already he's done a 5 here at Powerbuilt Tools Ruapuna.
I think we qualified number 1, 595, 236, good place to be. In a 6-car field, that actually means when they do their final seating, as long as we retain that number 1 position, we actually get a bye run into the final, which is very important. Basically, it gives us that bye run to try other things, see if we can push it a little more without running the risk of being eliminated. The clutch is the reason the car goes fast. Making horsepower is not so much of an issue, but the tune-up on the clutch is. We're one of the few here, we actually put a fresh clutch in every single run, and what that does is every time we go out to the track, we are in exactly the same place we were at last time we went out to the track. Therefore, any changes we make, we can actually quantify them, and then we can adjust the tune-up at each run. And we're back in the same place every time when we go out on the track.
It's all about the clutch.
My belief is that the clutch is the key to it's the difference between the fast cars and the not so fast cars.
Interesting to note, Mark Thomas, crew chief for John Nealon. The John Nealon team, well, the combination, number 1 qualifier in the 2 Group 1 divisions. Another winner from Taupo, experiencing problems in qualifying, and Shane Lodge grenades an engine, and he is out for the meeting. The surprise package in Top Street, Jeff Dobson back in his Camaro.
We've snuck up on the boys because we did contest Top Street 3 years ago, and really we were late 8 seconds, high 8s, and with the Mopars doing lower 8s, I guess we've sort of grabbed a good half second plus with our comeback, so it certainly has caught them by surprise. But we like to think about a Kiwi ingenuity, and we've made our own inlet manifold, and we're the only car running an EFI injector on a big block rather than a mechanical injection, so it's just something different.
Jeff Dobson has been qualifying well in the field during the season. Up here against Dave Rosewarne, we see smoke from the Camaro, and from that part of the car is not a good look. He has also damaged an engine, and you can see track officials there checking for oil on the track. There is oil on the track, there's going to be a clean-up, and Jeff Dobson has expired.
The Chevy Camaro's got a bit more horsepower than us, but he's had an engine problem, and which is, we don't wish that on anybody, but when it happens, it just makes the job a little bit easier. It's that close. You get a fair few points, and for us travelling to the South Island this time, we get a bit of extra for coming across the water there. That'll start making them up quick if we can do well today.
Top Street is always wheel-standing action, and Wayne Grimmer and Sam Levine have made this season the target to try and get number 1 off defending champion Roger Binema.
It turned out to be a beautiful day, and so we got a good turnout of cars. It's unfortunate for Jeff Dobson to go out the first round of qualifying. He was really the man to beat today, so it's coming down to still some tough competition, so we're looking forward to it. He's real consistent. He goes to all the races now. He's a real good competitor, so he's the man to beat. He did the first round of the Southern Nationals in Christchurch. We did the 10, so we're kind of third the points, so we have to do real well every race to have any chance of beating him or getting up there with him.
We're all limited cubic inch per weight, and it makes a big difference. We're all restricted to engine size per the weight of the car. Everyone's in their own class. So you've got to make as much out of whatever engine you're allowed to use for that weight break. Traction and air, making horsepower. For us being supercharged, it's easier to make more. So the naturally aspirated guys are sort of limited, and air is good for them.
The air on the day proved more significant than just making horsepower for the engines. Within an hour or so, the wind gusts came up. I think the locals knew it was coming. The wind gusts have come up, and it's completely changed the playing field. The wind gusts have exceeded 30 knots, and it is a crosswind directly sideways onto the race cars. But after analysing things at track level, the Castrol Edge Top Alcohol guys want to get into round 1 of eliminations. Let's race. Round 1 of elimination sees Todd Vincent against Maurice McMillan.
Unfortunately, after the Northern Nationals, we ran the quickest cars ever gone, 666. But unfortunately, we hurt a main bearing, and as you can imagine, the funds for these things aren't the cheapest things to run, so we had to miss the meeting while we built up and got them going again. So down here at the Digger Nationals, and we'll hopefully give it a good run. 532 cube Chevy, 1471 high helix blower on it, just a 3-speed linker and 10-inch power clutch, the standard top alcohol stuff. Really, obviously, Hemi is the way to go. We're ticking along with what we've got, and the crew are doing a good job, so we're happy.
Just a couple setup changes, bit of fuel and ignition timing, that sort of stuff to deal with the conditions down here. A little bit better than at Taupo, a little lower altitude, make some more power, hopefully go a bit quicker. It will take some good runs, some low 6s, high 5s to win today, I think. Again, if the altitude stays a bit low, I think it's about 1,200 feet at the moment. So hopefully we get our performance up, have some fast runs and take home the win. And there's a whole bunch of different combinations here. You've got guys with PSIs like John, the rest of us with roots, but then you've got Logie with what they call a Bruno drive transmission, no actual clutch in the car, converted car. So every car is quite different, especially in New Zealand.
Todd Vincent narrowly missed last season becoming the youngest top alcohol champion. And he's up against another young gun in the top alcohol ranks, Maurice McMillan. Ruapuna's been kind to Maurice because it gave him his first 6-second pass here last season, and he backed it up with 3 more. He will be looking to try and gain some valuable points, as too will Todd Vincent. Both cars moving into stage must win round one. And problems already off the line as you see Morris McMillan, the car just steps left and he has to shut it down, making it the easiest of victories for Todd Vincent into round number 2. Our next race sees Bruce Smith, who comes into this meeting with very little experience at the highest level. With no Shane Lodge after damaging his engine in qualifying, Bruce has the luxury of a single bye run. A good nerve-settling run for Bruce because the win here will take him into round 2 against Todd Vincent. Meet Dave Gould and his top alcohol Fiat Topolino.
Yeah, it's just a road trip for that there. You know, Wild Hogs done it on Harleys. We're doing it behind a Bedford bus and a Jeep, an old Jeep and that there. And yeah, taking the family with everybody. You know, most families take their cats and dogs with them. We take the race cars and everything else. This is a hobby to us and that there. And hobby is supposed to have fun and that there. So yeah, we're the underdogs here, that's fine. But you know, John and all them, when they pair against us, you know, they're pretty much guaranteed to win. But you know, now and again, things happen and we win. The woman in that there especially, they'll come up and say, oh, this looks so cute in that there. So sometimes we think that maybe we should just paint it pink and then it'll, you know, please the woman's side of things as well. So, but no, that's what it's all about. It's just doing something different and just going right outside of that square. Around about 1,600 horsepower in it. We've never had it wide open in that there because obviously it just won't take it. It'll just tear itself apart. But, you know, we get down at Miri and that there and we'll get to 3/4 track and the left front wheel will be off the ground, so we just drive on the front right wheel and the back wheels. And that's why it has a tendency to go right, so.
Dave Gould, the true enthusiast in motorsport in New Zealand. And I'm not so sure about the pink, Dave. But here he is in round 1 of eliminations against South Island's John Nealon. Both cars move into stage. You can see the flags giving us an idea of just how strong that crosswind is. John Nealon, the 5-second man, he's got a lot at stake here, but he's confident he can get it through and drives as if there's nothing going on around him. John Nealon posts us another 6-0-0. We're at the Diggers Southern Nationals, round 3 of the Century Yuasa Power Series. We're back at the Century Yuasa Power Series, the Digger Southern Nationals. Round 1 eliminations for top door slammer sees Wayne Hussey came oh so close in the point series last year. Waiting on engine parts out of the US kept him out of the opening round this season. And then a round 1 loss at Taupo, he is desperate to win some points.
This car's making around 2,040 horsepower compared to the blower cars, which are making around 3,000. But the blower itself, you can use up to like 1,000 horsepower just to run the blower. So we are up there with the power. We're not limited to cubic inches. That's why nitrous cars run big cubes. This is 634 compared to around 500 cubes on the blower car. We only have to weigh 2,400 pounds. We have got a bit of an advantage weight-wise compared to a blower car. We are at the bottom in the points, but all the points are fairly even at the moment, which hasn't happened for a few years. So we've got a good chance today of catching up some points.
To win those points, he'll have to drive past this man, Harry Hunt, in the Wellington-based Camaro. Now, the crew have got their diff back together. Have they got it set up? Not a lot of time, not a lot of qualifying runs for them to get the car straight. It is a must-win time now for the team. As they go about their start line procedure, you see Wayne Hussey just purging the nitrous oxide there. Harry Hunt with a mechanical supercharger. And a good launch from Wayne Hussey, gets a clean start, but again, problems and all over the track for Perry Hunt. It is all Wayne Hussey. He'll be happy to take the win as they pull the chutes at half track. But have a look at Perry Hunt, and the car is just spinning the wheels. He's got a lot of work to do, and he just saves it from going over. Perry Hunt, the problems continue for the team. The car is okay in respect he can drive it to the finish line, but he is eliminated in round 1, and a great drive to save it from going over. Our second pair in door slammer sees the Taylor & Taylor 57 Chevy. Now the wind, whilst it's dropping slightly, is still fairly strong across the track, and the top door slammer drivers are only running to the half track mark. 8th mile drag racing. We saw Wayne Hussey pull the chute early, and you will see Ross Taylor and Steve Beatty in this pair run to the half track mark. final thumbs up from Jason Taylor, crew chief for Father Ross, and his steely eyes focused on that start line. As he gives the car one last burst, that just clears all that fuel that's just pooling up in the manifold. But again, he is bouncing around a little bit on the start line. He saves it quickly, pedals it, short shifts the gears, and he'll take an easy win at the half-track mark for Ross Taylor. Just watch the car off the start line, and he lurches around, spinning the tyres, but a good save. Ross Taylor gets the win. Next up, Mike Woodavine.
Well, at the moment we're 2 behind Bobby Owens, and for our trip here, we had to do it basically to get in front of him. Here we made the trip, we found the money, and we come down, and I think just even entering here today, we'll be on points from in front of him already.
And Mike Woodavine's points have been accumulated by many semi-final appearances. As you can see, the body styles are very diverse in Top Door Slammer. The Ferrari Boxer is a copy of a Ferrari Boxer body that Mike Woodavine radically modified many years ago now by one Terry Sims. And alongside Mike is the 1965 XP Falcon. Driven by Team Squig, this Falcon, basic steel body, but with a lot of fiberglass panels, doors and bonnet. If we look to the start line, you'll see some white lights at the top of the tree. 2 white lights that are ready to go. As the tree comes down, you'll see green, and it's Team Squig that gets the better of the start. Mike Woodavine doing the chasing, and in half a track, you won't catch him. That orange cone you can see in the track is the 8th mile finish mark. Right there, that is where Team Squig gets the win. To round out round number 1 of Top Door Slammer, the number 1 qualifier with a single pass. By qualifying number 1, he earns the right to have that single pass. And you can see the custom line of Mark Thomas. You would never know he'd left racing for a season to go crewing for John Nealon. Now, as you can see, the burnout, very important part of the race before they go into stage. We saw Ross Taylor give the car a rev just like this, and it is just blowing out excess fuel that pulls up after the burnout, and then they stop and back up and idle. As the butterflies close after 4.7, oh so quick. Competition Eliminator. This bracket is made up by race cars of different classes. An index calculates a handicap start, but the winner is still the first to cross the line. Our first pair on the track sees Alan Ryder in the rear engine dragster against fellow South Islander Johnny Alsop in the Willys Coupe. Work to do here for Alan Ryder because Johnny Alsop has qualified right on his own national record. And he has already got problems off the line. You can see the car goes off to the left. He gets into the dust and dirt that's out there. He has to get off it and let Alan Ryder drive away from him. Well, a big upset in round 1. Look at that. The camera giving the appearance that the Willys is not even lined up straight in the racetrack. That's not the case. It was just wheel spin off the line and the Willys just headed straight left. Next up, New Zealand's number 1, Ian DeBoo.
23 altered. It's an old car. It's an old car going back about 1980. It started life with a blown Hemi in it. So the ultimate idea is to get another one back in at some stage, but that's a long way away yet. We're always playing around with the fuel system and just trying to hit the nail on the head.
Wins through the round bring Ian DeBoo up against Alan Ryder in our competition eliminator final. The dragster and altered. This bracket, like the top alcohol, are running the full quarter mile. Ian DeBoo with a head start by virtue of his handicap, but Alan Ryder, no problem at all, as Ian DeBoo has to shut it down with problems, and Alan Ryder runs a 7-second winning time to take the title at the Digger Southern Nationals. Not a problem at all for Alan Ryder, straight as an arrow. Fast Parts Super Street finals time now sees the Camaro out of Taranaki of Ian Elliott up against the XW Falcon of Rex Ford. And a red light foul on the start line has cost Ian Elliott. He's chasing and he is giving it everything he's got. He thinks he's still in the race and he catches Rex right on the line to get a win, he thinks. But unfortunately, that red light foul meant he left too soon. An automatic win for Rex Ford. Round 1 of eliminations in Top Street sees Roger Binnema, the current New Zealand number 1, up against Sam Levine in the Plymouth Duster. Like competition bracket, there is a handicap start, but the first one across the finish line is the winner. You see Roger Binnema chasing, and Sam Levine has problems and has to get off the throttle. The car is slowing even before half track, making it look even easier for Roger Binnema to take the round 1 win. That win matches Roger Binnema up against Dave Rosewarne in the Top Street semi-final. Roger Binnema, this time he is in the right-hand lane, lane number 2. Let's watch those start line Christmas tree lights count down. And a red light for Dave Rosewarne at the bottom of the tree. You see it coming on. That meant he left too soon. Red light fell. Automatic disqualification, and the easy win for Roger Binnema. He was never going to catch him on horsepower. I think he would have seen the red light come on in his opponent's lane. There it is at the bottom. That sets up a final against Wayne Grimmer, who has a bye run into the final. So a drag race is won at both ends of the racetrack, the start line as well as the finish. The points race in Top Street is oh so tight now, as in second place Wayne Grimmer with a slim margin behind Roger Binnema, still holding on to that number one. Let's focus on those start line lights. You see both white lights, but Wayne Grimmer's bottom light is flicking. That's indicating the car is rolling back. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's obviously not happy with that start. Easy win for Roger Binnema. He's up and gone. But Wayne Grimmer didn't want to get moving. He obviously wasn't happy with the fact that that bottom light was flicking out. Was he moving backwards? The light tends to suggest he was, but with Wayne Grimmer sitting there, I don't know. VHT Super Sedan finals time, and the man that is New Zealand number one and current points leader, John McGinty in the F100 pickup. His opponent in this final is Lee Sherwin in the Pro Drill Quartermaster Escort. Now, Super Sedan is a dial-your-own format of racing, where the racers nominate the time they elect to do. So just being first across the finish line doesn't guarantee you a win. If you go quicker than your nominated dial in time, you break out and lose. Lee Sherwin has to win this race if he wants to catch John McGinty. But John McGinty is a very smart racer, and you can see he has just got a nose in front the whole way down the racetrack and never going to get beaten. That's how you get number one on the side of your car. Closer to the finish line, but no cigar for Pro Drill. John McGinty is a champion. Century Batteries Modified is a dial-your-own bracket for competition-style cars as opposed to Super Sedan, more street-looking bodies. And in the final, we see once again Nicole Rivers in the Blues Brothers Dragster and Andy Chapman 3 times defending New Zealand number one. This pair are running over the 8th mile, so it'll be a short, quick race. And here we see Nicole Rivers cross the finish line first, but not get the win because she breaks out, goes under her dial in time. Andy Chapman on the money, he wins it. Top Door Slammer semi-finals time, and we're back to 8th mile racing. Our first semi-final of the Final Four sees Team Squig in that XB Falcon up against the number one qualifier, Mark Thomas, in his custom line. Strong burnout from both races. As you can see, the butterflies barely open during the burnout. That is how much horsepower they are making to spin the tyres that easy. And the last squirt of antifreeze to stop the rush of air through the butterflies seizing up as the cars go into stage. And an excellent start for Mark Thomas. When you're only racing over an 8th mile, you have to get a good start, and he does exactly that and takes an easy win from Team Squig, putting Mark Thomas into the Top Door Slammer final. Our second semi-final is the pairing of Ross Taylor in his 57 Chevy up against the Nova of Wayne Hussey. Now again, over 8th mile, you would think that Wayne Hussey would probably have the opportunity to bang some more horsepower in a little bit quicker than the mechanical supercharger that Ross Taylor has. As you can see, the purge of nitrous from Hussey getting full jet of nitrous, and just wheel spin for Ross Taylor. It is all Wayne Hussey. The nitrous, as I said, a little bit more of a horsepower advantage. He can bang it on quickly, and it is all over in 4 seconds. Wayne Hussey is going into a final. Ross Taylor, you see the smoke, so he's got the revs on. It is just spinning the wheels too much, too quick. We move into Castrol Edge Top Alcohol semi-finals. The number one qualifier, John Nealon, has the bye in the semi-final. He'll want to post a good run here because that'll give him lane choice in the final to come. And he has a good hard start. John Nealon, he's charging. It's a good run from John Nealon. And you see the wind pick up the chutes, take him sideways. He still runs a 580, but you see the wind drag those chutes directly to the left-hand side of the track. And to meet John Nealon in the Castrol Edge Top Alcohol final will be the winner of this pair between Bruce Smith and Todd Vincent. Bruce Smith looking to make his name for himself in his first top competition meeting, but Todd Vincent, he is desperate for points this season. They've been close, but haven't got that win. He must get into the final against John Nealon if he wants to stay within a chance of catching him. The light come down, clean start, Todd Vincent, but a red light in lane 2. Again, you see it at the bottom of the tree, and Bruce Smith did get the jump on Todd Vincent, but a red light fell. Todd Vincent just drives away from him anyway. The horsepower too much from the big Hemi. And Todd Vincent, John Nealon final. How many times have we seen that over the last couple of seasons? The officials have now pulled the plug on the meeting. Here at Powerbuilt Tools Dragway in Christchurch, we've had a freak of nature which has completely turned this Digger Nationals, the Southern Nationals, upside down.
Wind gust 30 to 40 knots. Cars, Group 1 cars, running 200 plus mile an hour, they have to pull parachutes at 30 to 40 knots. Incredibly dangerous. So unfortunately we had to stop racing. Huge delay and a disappointment for, well, not only the fans but the racers. We've struggled through, but what happened, Manuel?
Let's wind the clock back now to 2003. The place, Manfield Racetrack. But not as you know it. No cars this time. It's World Series jet sprinting from the infield at Manfield.
North Island. Renowned for its narrow channels and tricky crosswakes, competitors loop 3 times around the center and twice around the ultra-fast speedball. Manfield has many traps in its twists and the turns. Navigation today will be vital.
Manfield, is it a course you like?
Manfield's a track that it's well used, well promoted. You've got to like it, and it's got a lot of technical pieces. It has a few variables, few wakes, which are a little bit unfortunate. We've worked hard at finding a setup for our boat to maximise its performance through those difficult parts of the water. Certainly, you do have to be sharp. There's a few more opportunities for the unknown to happen at this track, but I think a strong focus and a well-prepared boat should come through with a good result.
After 3 rounds in America, the Super Bowl points table is tight. Leon Smale on 79 points. Burt Roberts on 80 points. Both have an outside chance. What the real battle will be between Peter Coe and Mark Roberts.
Mark, you won the first leg of World Series, but now you're in a different hemisphere. How tough is that for you?
Being in a different hemisphere, not having home track advantage, it makes it a lot tougher. But the time period between our last series get together and right now, that's the hardest part.
Now, Bert's driving as well. Is that a problem for you?
I think Bert's probably going to be the better driver in this series. He's got the young eye-to-hand coordination. Even last year, he won more races than I did. I was just in all the races and finished at a better average.
Peter Coe is proof that this sport finally is vital. There was no doubt that he had the speed, but not finishing one of the rounds had cost him.
America was good for you, but not quite.
Yeah, we went to America having not raced for basically 5 or 6 months, and of course our boat had been shipped to the States, so we hadn't even seen it for 2 months, and I guess we're a little bit green when we got over there, and took the first event to really learn the style of the American tracks as well, and certainly the team put in a good effort, and we got the boat set up right for it, and then we came back with a couple of wins.
Another victim of one poor performance was the new young star of world jet sprinting, 19-year-old Burt Roberts.
The first leg of World Series was pretty good for you, Burt. One wrong performance, otherwise you'd have been there.
Yeah, it worked really well. It was a brand new boat, and it felt really good. And I'm still pretty much a rookie in the Superboat class. I made a rookie mistake that one race, and otherwise, yeah, I would have been in it. It feels good just to be where I was at, but looking back on it, I wish I would have done better.
Third place in the points belonged to Australian Jeremy O'Driscoll. Consistent in the first 3 rounds, questions remain over his ultimate speed.
Jeremy, first leg of World Series, it was pretty good for you. Is this going to be your year?
I hope it was. I actually thought it was until I lobbed in New Zealand and found I was in a field of 20. And which is a world record field. 20 superboats is a hell of a field, and boy, they're fast. I'm a little out of touch. some of these young guys are putting some early times up that are intimidating me a little.
They call the young Australian Leon Smale the wild child. Too many non-finishes have kept him down in the points. The speed's there, but has he got the vote?
You've got basically what's in today's world a bit of an outdated package. Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem. It just doesn't leave as much room for error. I mean, these guys have got 300 pound less weight. Their motors are as equal horsepower to mine, but 300 pound less weight. So it just means I have to be a lot more careful with what I do. That's all it is.
You didn't make the first part of World Series, but you've got a hell of a reputation, and there's a lot of people out there that you can take points off of.
Well, that's right. I mean, regardless of what the point situation is, we're here to win this race today.
Are you here to win all three?
Exactly, and I think we've got the package to do it. We're driving well, we've got a good team behind us, and yeah, we're here to take it away.
Chris, we're getting down to business end of the day, you know. Now's the time. You must be happy where you are.
Yeah, but there's got to be a bit more out there, otherwise we're not going to get into those finals properly, so now's the time to start trying and get it right, I think.
Chris Barnes has not had an easy World Series. 6 on the points ladder, and here at Manfield it was getting a little bit worse. A navigation mistake in the tricky middle section of the course, putting him out. The traps were many for the unwary, and with speeds of these boats, it was easy to miss a turn, as series favorite New Zealand's Peter Coe found himself out. Once again, turning too soon to the middle section was the problem.
It's a championship, you know, isn't it about getting it right all the time?
It is, absolutely. That's what we aim for. We put a heck of a lot of preparation and effort into winning these championships, and you know, it's pretty gut-wrenching for the team, of course, but that's you know, that's how she goes sometimes, and we've been on the right side of these decisions or outcomes more often than not, and it's got to take it on the chin, I think. You know, it happens occasionally. I mean, you know, we can learn from it and try and make some improvements, but beating ourselves up ain't going to make it any better. So, yeah, just got to look forward to the next event, I suppose.
I've now got to work out where I'm slow and where I'm timid, and I've got to go out there. I've got one shot left in the locker. I've got to have see whether it works. I'm going to go out there and have a harder. I'm going to go out and have a try.
Well, first out to get into the field of 8 to see how we're going to end up here, into the 4s and the 2s, and at the end of the day, we're going to have ourselves a winner here at Manfield for Super Bowl for World Series Jet Sprinting, and the man that is passionate 101% through and through, Aussie True Blue Jeremy O'Driscoll. As you can tell, he's been staying real consistent in the upper 53s to the 52s. But what he knows he needs to do here, he has to have that 51-second pass if he wants any type of shot at all to move on to the next split time, 26-17.
Well, that's going to be the yardstick that Jeremy O'Driscoll sets a long way from home from the west coast of Australia, running the beautiful Macraft with the 500 cubic inch Kendrick Dart small block, pumping better than 940 horsepower, and Jeremy O'Driscoll is using every one of them as he burns out the Aquatrack. Now it's time to get the crawl to the floor, heading for home. The time that everyone else has to chase is a 51.72.
You know, you could not have asked for a better day of racing. Look at blue skies, sunshine, great crowd on hand for this the Super Bowl edition of World Series Jet Sprinting on the Aquatrack on the infield here at Manfield. This is where they race the cars on a 1.2-mile track. And for Easton, he just saw the pass laid down in front of him, but he's already been into the 49s today in round number 3. So we'll see what's going to take place for Jeremy O'Driscoll, if immediately going to be put onto the bubble or not. Here comes split time. It's going to show, a great pass to 25.70.
Well, remember this team, their first outing in a superboat. They've driven lower powered boats on 2 occasions. And Ian Easton, he raced in America, ran outlaw sprint cars out of the stable of Jeff Gordon. He knows what big-time racing is all about.
Jeremy O'Driscoll with his 51.72 pass is probably not going to be enough to fend off the competition of Easton. Here it goes. It's going to show. How about a 50-58 for Easton? Oh, they're going to like that one.
Mark, qualifying's over. It's time to start the dance.
Yeah, we're about midway in the field right now. We're gonna have to come up a couple seconds.
Is it there?
Yeah, it's good there to get 2 more seconds, but I think to get to the top of this, we're going to have to push even harder now.
The man from Idaho, Mike Roberts, at the pit pool, coming around the corner full on throttle, the longest straightaway in World Series jet sprinting racing, and immediately to the right, and then they take the left into the speedball. Now one of the greatest shots in motorsport is the onboard camera for World Series jet sprinting. Mike Roberts, the American racer, coming into this. As you can tell, he's got a 50-32, so he is looking for that 49-second pass because he knows he's got himself surrounded with great Australian New Zealand racers here on the aqua track in Manfield. 25-20 split time for Mike Roberts.
Well, you can see as the time has been, he's picked up nearly a second on Ian Easton. This is America's most experienced sprinter. He's been there and done that. Had 3 great rounds in the United States, but now he's on foreign waters. Coming up the 45-second mark. O'Driscoll's time ahead of us at 51.72. Come towards the finish, runs and guns, 48.98, his best time of the day.
We've said it a few times, and we will continue to say it a few more times. The coolest onboard camera shot in the World Series jet spring over the whole of Eric Huxleyman, Amy Dahl's Kiwi Express boat, landed hard into the speedball, and is that a shot or what? The Kiwi Express, I guess you could say the home countryman that's got the chance to take it all.
The most aggressive drive in the business here at Oxema. Andy Dahl sitting alongside, and they know this water like the back of their hand. Pushing the new 475 cubic inch Chevrolet, taking it to the max. He knows no other way. At the sprint, he's down by 1.16 seconds.
Talk about laying down the split time. Eric Coxey would like to even dip this thing down into 47th if at all possible, and to continue on. As you can tell, there's a 49 in front of him with a 50 and a 51. Is he going to get into the 48s, maybe even 47s? A couple of seconds away, we'll find out. Kiwi Express and Eric Coxey to the finish line we go. It's going to show 48 and a 97. Oh, they're going to be sky high with that pass. WSJ World Series jet sprinting. Here comes Gary Tomes. You take a look at the back of the boat for Gary Tomes. Is that a spoiler to help keep the back of the boat in, keep the pump in, or is that a fancy way of putting protection for the headers in case it rolls over? It depends on who you talk to, but it's functional both ways. So for Gary Tomes, right at this point, the one to beat is going to be Jeremy O'Driscoll. You want to run faster than the 51.72 from Jeremy O'Driscoll to keep you away from that bubble position. Let's take a look at the split time. For Gary Tomes, 25-15. Oh, spectacular pass.
That is impressive. Remember, this man, a 2-time World Series Group A champion. He has raced super boats in the past. He has not driven this boat. It's got the 406 supercharged Rodeck, and it delivers enough power. A little bit busy, this hull on the water as he runs and guns. The time up there on the board to beat 51.72, and Tones is going to beat it with a 49.83.
Do you think in Superboat they're just going to continue to put horsepower into it? Is that where the development's going to go, or is it we're going to see some other changes?
I think that's always part of the development. I mean, that's a sure bet. You put some more horsepower, spend some more money, and you're going to go faster. The hard one is the jet unit and the hull, and being able to get the whole package together. I mean, horsepower on its own won't do it. You've got to have everything working in sync, and that's, yeah. So there's lots of room for development in hulls and jet units and more horsepower.
You know, he says it all, doesn't he, Peter Bryant? More horsepower. And it is true. It's a horsepower game when you're getting into super boats, but you got to get the boat to set down on the water. So technology being what it is today, let's say from 5 years ago, is so far advanced. But what's it going to be like when we get to 2006 and 2007? Peter Bryant, look at there. He's already ran himself a 47.45. The onboard shot for World Series jet sprinting from Manfield, Aqua Track and Fielding.
Well, we wait for the sprint because this man, he is on fire. We look at 24.76. He's up by nearly a second as he works away at the helm of the Stinger and under the Kendrick Dart 500 small blocks. And this man has been there and done that.
Jeremy O'Driscoll is already out. Easton is now on the bubble at a 50-53. And I think that Peter Bryant's going to put somebody on the trailer. We get to the cruel part of this sport now, putting people onto the trailer. 47.72 for Peter Bryant. Easton's on the trailer.
Rodney, the word is that you're on fire.
Well, we're doing our best, and okay, I think we're got the quickest time at the moment, but there's a long way to go yet.
That's a pretty quick time this early on.
Well, the thing is, you've got to add on each run, and you get down behind the pace, and it's too hard to get back up at the end of the day. So we're trying our best to just maintain a good pace. That we're quite comfortably doing it. So.
Is there much left?
Yeah, there's a little bit left. We're not pushing the boundaries yet. We're sort of in the safe zone, but we've got to be careful we don't make a mistake. We want to just get hopefully to the end of the day and not put a mark on the boat, because we've got more races to do, and so we're trying hard.
And next to run in the fielding, son, the greatest driver in jet sprinting history, Rodney Poyor. You name it, he has won it as he lights up the Keith Black big block down the fastest stretch of water in world sprinting, 140 plus kilometres an hour, in and out of the speed bowl and the Mark Cromie Holden Stinger. Poyor, Mr. Smooth, rockin' Rodney. Does it get better than this? He's got to crank it on. He's been the quickest on the water so far. He's got to do it again. Well, and he is going to do it again. 24.33. That is the quickest anyone all day.
Rodney Poyor on fire. The 24.33 split time, and the rumblings in the pit is this is the guy you'll want to watch out for. Wait a minute. I think we've got a problem here. He's gone the wrong way. Oh, no. Oh, no. For Rodney Poyor, the odds-on favorite to win today, he has gone the wrong way, and he will be on the trailer, which means that Gary Tomes has dodged a bullet. And Gary Tomes is on the bubble with a 49.83. Poyor just going to go ahead and finish out the pass, but look at the time. Yeah, oh, that's so disappointing for Rodney Poyor. Oh, man, tough break. And as you can tell by the map, here's the correct way. He should have went one more channel down to go around the island. So with that, we go back to the American boat. This is a double-team boat. It is a father-son. Dad, Mark Roberts, has already been out. This is son, Bert Roberts. And once again, here we go. We keep talking about this. Longest straightaway in World Series jet sprinting and into the 360 speed pole. This is Bert Roberts and Perry Houston. These two have had a 1-2 punch for Nationls Sprint Boat Association. And now going to tag team up in the series down under here in New Zealand. The whiz kid from America, Bert Roberts.
Well, second time down under, and he's learnt from the first time. He's very, very quick and slick on the water. Back into the speed boat, revs, runs and guns out of there, and he's on another quickie. He's going to shoot down the opposition, this young gun from Boise in Idaho.
49.83, Gary Tomes on the bubble, stars and stripes. It is Bert Roberts and Perry Houston. To the finish line we go. He's going to click himself off. 49.69. And they do put Gary Tomes on the trailer, but they wish he probably could have been a little faster than that. So the ones not making it, Rodney Poyor, Jeremy O'Driscoll, Ian Easton, and Gary Tomes. But Bert Roberts, Mark Roberts, Eric Hatsima, and Peter Bryant going into the Final Four. We'll be back right after this. And we are back on the Aqua Track at Manfield, or on the infield of Manfield, here in Fielding, New Zealand, North Island. And this is the 1-2 punch father-son combination. Son is going to be on the track right now. It's going to be Bert Roberts and Perry Houston running, navigating the stars and stripes from the Boise, Idaho area in the Pacific Northwest of America. And this will be for at least Dad, Mark Roberts, a fourth time for coming to New Zealand to doing the racing. So son Bert, who has absolutely torn up the United States Sprint Boat Association, got a chance on the Final Four to bounce himself into the finals if he can with 24.85 on split time. Russell.
Well, he sent the bet much, Jack. He's got to go for it now because we're in the Final Four. 2 to go through, and they're in a great position, the Roberts Racing team, to emulate what they did at Marsing when we're going to have a father-son final. But there's 3 big guns to run after him. The clock ticks away, 45, 46. Running and gunning for home, hooks it round the Manfield turns, and 48-46 is the one he'll go for.
The boat looks very unstable along the back straight here.
It doesn't like to wash down in turn 4. You see, most of the boats are struggling right there. We're a little light on horsepower. We're trying to make up for the loss of horsepower, and where we can, we're pushing that corner very fast.
Have you got the boat trimmed out quite high as well?
We do. We have very little boat in the water.
Well, as you heard Mark Roberts saying, they've got very little boat in the water. They're trying to get this thing to handle as best as possible. Interesting scenario here. We got 4 boats remaining in the Final Four. Son, Bert Roberts has already ran his 48.45. Now Dad has a chance to put son on the trailer with the boat that they're both driving. Hold on, kids, it's going to get a lot more weirder than this.
And that's pushing it, Jack, as far as family relations go. But they're out there on the water. They both want victory. They won't both want maximum points from this opening round here in the New Zealand leg. But this man, he has got it. We've got the young, we've seen the restless.
Perhaps you've noticed on the side of the Stars and Stripes boats is the great big red M, USSBA, United States Speedboat Association rules indicate that has to be on the side of the boat is running methanol, and they are. Is Dad going to move on or is Son going to move on? Let's see what happens. Dad's on the trailer. Son, Bert Roberts, will move on. 49.61 for Mark Roberts.
Well, it's 2 down, 2 to go in the final four. Eric Hoxham and Andy Dahl, they hit the gas pedal of the 440 road deck, and they're on their home track. The most aggressive driver in jet sprinting, the most experienced driver in jet sprinting. And Hoxima, he is very aggressive. He goes to attack mode on this track. He's had some big offs, and some people say he's an accident looking for somewhere to happen. He doesn't want it to happen right now. We wait for the sprint. Give us a zing there, and it is 25-12.
Susan, our statistician here in the tower, just slipped me a note and says Mark Roberts is not on the trailer. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that Mark Roberts was on the bubble, as you can tell with the 49.61. Thank you, Susan. Where would we be without Susan? Eric Hoxham making the dash. If he goes faster than a 49.61, then Mark Roberts will be on the trailer. Everybody's looking. There it is, 49.11. Goodbye, Mark Roberts, Eric Hoxham, and Bert Roberts to the final so far, with one more pass coming up here next.
Have you made any changes to the boat?
We're continually playing with it, and here the boat's quite different to it was in the last World Series, and it's a lot faster, carries its corner speed much faster, and accelerates really well. So, but then it doesn't really like this kind of dirty, soupy water so much.
Well, we're going to have ourselves a New Zealand American final, but is it going to be Bert Roberts, Eric Hoxham, or Bert Roberts, or this guy? Peter Bryan, and as you heard him say, he doesn't really like it, and neither does the boat, this soupy kind of water, where you start getting a lot of sand and debris, which makes the water basically thick. The bottom and the boats don't sit in the water quite as well. Coming up on the split time, Russell.
Oh, Jack, this is a quick one. Look at that, 24.36. He's up by over 7 tenths, and he cranks it up another notch. He's quicker than he was in his previous run. This is the one that's going to count. It's going to be a Kiwi in the final. Is it going to be Hoxima or this man, Peter Bryan? And he is on a mission right now.
Well, you saw the times up on the board. Mark Roberts is already out. Now is Peter Bryan going to put Eric Hoxham on the trailer and take on Bert Roberts? I think so. How about 47.65 for Peter Bryan? Oh, the crowd likes that one. So there you have it. Peter Bryan, Bert Roberts go into the finals. New Zealand Seafoods taking on Stars and Stripes. Eric Hoxham and Mark Roberts going to be having to watch it from the sidelines. Both of them coming in with 49-second passes on the New Zealand Open at Main Field. Here we go. Stars and Stripes. The father-son combination that made the trek from America down under. Dad supporting now as crew chief for son Bert Roberts. Perry Houston running as a navigator. Hard into the speed bowl of all the times through all the qualifying passes. All the times up to this point means nothing from this point on. You got one shot only, and you get to throw down the gauntlet and then stand back and say, catch me if you can. So for the young American, Bert Roberts and Perry Houston on their split time, here it comes, 24-35. Oh, they're going to like that one.
Yep, that's what they're going to do, but they're happy campers right now because you've got to remember, through getting this final, they've already jumped places on the overall standings. So this is a critical one. If he wins it, it's going to be a bonus point for him. But he really has settled in a big bobble there as he heads around the narrow, the tight channel at the Manfield Aqua Track. Into the final quarter, hooks it home at 49.92. He's got it on the board for Bert Roberts.
49.92 for Bert Roberts. People are shaking their head and wanting to know where that came from. That's a second and a half slower from where he was before. And this guy, Peter Bryan, has already been down in the 47s. And he said he'd like to get out of here if he could with a 46-second pass. Well, we'll find out in just a matter of seconds. Peter Bryan in New Zealand Seafood.
And he has been the man setting the pace, Big Jack, because he's been running in the 47s. He's got to beat a 49.92 and Bert Roberts. This man from Gisborne, the first city in the world to see the sun, is chasing maximum points. The clock ticking on, coming up the magic 30 seconds. He is on the case. He is right on the pace, and it might be bye-bye Bernie
For
Roberts.
Peter Bryant, he said just once he'd like to get it down into the 46s before he puts another trailer for the end of the day. This may be the pass. Keep an eye on the scoreboard. Is it going to be a 46 or not for Peter Bryant? It will show. No! But wins it with a 47.08. Look at that. Well over 2 seconds faster than number 2, Burton Roberts. So it ends up with 47.8 in the win for Peter Bryant and Burton Roberts. Stars and Stripes from Idaho in America at 49.92.
No mistakes?
No, we went wrong this morning once, but no, we just as the day went, we built our confidence. Just grew as the day went on. It was great. We had a great day.
Put you back up in the points. 2 rounds to go. You could still take it.
Yeah, it could get me up there farther up on the points, that's for sure. It feels good. There's a lot more competitors and everything. And
I mean, with Peter Coey not making the 8, that's changed the rules.
That's huge. Yeah, that's right. You bring that up. Unfortunate for his part, but hey, I can take what I can get at this point in the game.
Thanks, mate.
World Series Jet Sprinting New Zealand Open, Manfield Aqua Track in Fielding, North Island, New Zealand. Round number 4 is now completed. And the way the point standings are after 4 rounds of Superboat, father, son, 1-2 punts. Dad, Mark Roberts, number 1. Son, Bert Roberts, number 2. Followed by Jeremy O'Driscoll, Peter Coey, Leon Smale, Chris Barnes, Brett Smith. The 3 Americans, Kelly Morris, Lee Rice, and Ben Battioli, rounding out the top 10. Great racing again at Manfield, and we'll see you again down the road very soon.
To finish up today, we're back on dry land with the 2007 Rally Extreme Series, this time from Whangarei, Wairarapa and the Hawke's Bay.
The first North Island round of the Rally Extreme Series was run as part of the Helolites International Rally of Whangarei. Not only was the rally the only New Zealand round of the Asia Pacific Championship, a clubman's rally and a round of the Vantage Aluminium New Zealand Champs, but there were 19 cars entered as part of Rally Extreme. Seeded best of the Rally Extreme field was Auckland's Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation in their Evo 6.5 Mitsubishi. They got off to a flying start, winning 4 of the first 5 stages before striking problems in stage 4. They would eventually go out after stage 5. Second on the road was Howick's Matt Jensen and co-driver Brett Wright in their Santa Rosa sponsored Mitsubishi. We ride with them here in their Bruce Herbert championship winning car from 1999. A good morning's work with top 6 stage times hampered somewhat by an engine misfire, which was remedied at service. The afternoon stages, a repeat of the same 4 from the morning, was even better for Jensen. Constant top 3 times and second overall after stage 6. Helping to keep the position to the finish, topping stage timing on 7 and 8. The somewhat notorious Cassidy 2. Second longest at 23 kilometres and the final publicity at 1.5 kilometres, a blast around Whangarei. Plagued by small mechanical gremlins in the Rally Extreme Series last year, this was a great start for the young team. If you look out the windscreen of Jensen's car, the roads may seem familiar, and they should. Most of the roads used in the Helolites International Rally of Whangarei have been used in Northland rallies and Rally New Zealand in the past. The small gravel chips and tight cambered turns are favourite with all who drive on them, including the best in the world. Another favourite, the Hella Bridge. Plenty of high-flying action was seen here all day. Number 54 was the Subaru Impreza of Ray Reid and Scott Taylor, tipped by many as one of the favourites for Rally Extreme this season. Things went horribly wrong for the popular pairing. A huge crash in Special Stage 5, Waiwiri 2 at 18.92 kilometres, ending their charge and maybe their season. Anton Meyer and Dave Davenport started equally as fast as Jones and Nation ahead of them, pushing their North Face Spy Optic Subaru to second place after stage 3, and with the demise of Jones, were leading the rally after 4. Back into second after 5, a position they would lose in the next stage. Third overall in Extreme, a great result for the Subaru pairing. Peter and Kathleen Clendon had made the trip from Masterton in their ex-Ian Taylor Gallant VR4. One of the older cars, but still one of the fastest, they were well inside the top 10 Extreme stage times until stage 6 when their engine expired, and so did any hopes of a finish. Following the Clendons on the road was Palmerston North's Struan Robertson and Sarah Matthewson, with times just outside the top 10 in the morning stages. It was the first trip around the publicity stage where the veteran began to shine, cracking the top 10 for the first time. As we ride with the Auto Works crew here, every rally has a great story, and for Struan Robertson, it was not a very well hidden one. The veteran was suffering from terrible car sickness, a fact brought home to his service crew when he brought the car back to service. We don't know what was more special, the top 10 overall finish from a driver obviously suffering, or the patience and intestinal fortitude of his co-driver, Sarah Matthewson. They breed them tough in the Manawatu. The by now foul-smelling Mitsubishi again proving the perfect car for Rally Extreme. Just as in the South Island series, whatever happens in the Extreme Challenge in the North Island, there will be a new champion. Last year's standout Callum McGuinness and the South Island's Derek Asen moving on. For Callum, it's the National Championships in the Subaru. For Asen, it's trusty Nissan-powered Escort in classic rallies. And speaking of champions, two-wheel drive rallying in the North Island at a regional level are the domain of Grant Liston and Rob Scott in their Avis North Shore Honda Civic Type R. No doubt helped by the high attrition rate in the two-wheel drive class, Liston was never out of the top 10 stage time and eventually finished 6th overall in the small 11-car field. Pushing Liston and Scott all the way as they had done last year, the BDA Escort of Craig Stevens and Chris Alexander. We ride with them here.
Opens 30 and it's 7 left. Opens a crest 50. Sorry, 7 left over crest 30 and a 4 sorry. 5 right. Close and a 4 left here. 4 left here. Opens 100. On a small crest 30 and a 5 right. It's a long 4 left.
Stevens and Alexander beat Liston on stages 2 and 3. The 35 kilometres Bull won and Cassidy won, but it wasn't enough. In the end, the 32-year-old car had to play second fiddle to the screaming Honda, but roll on Wairarapa, round 2 for the North Island cars. Car number 64 was yet another Subaru, this one in the hands of Brendan Oakton and Brendan Pipe, never out of the top 4 and a lot of the time much higher, including a win in the first publicity. Oakton could have gone better, hamstrung by some untimely spins and mechanical gremlins. Still, valuable points, and this is first outing of the year. The big surprise was the performance of Brad Ayling. Ayling, who is the son of former Group A New Zealand champion David, had never driven a four-wheel drive car before, nor had he used the computer-generated notes. It made no difference. He took the overall lead in Special Stage 5 and never lost it. He won 6, finished 2nd in 7 and 4th in 8th. A great win for a guy whose rally experience beforehand was a couple of years ago at club level in a two-wheel drive Escort. Car number 69 was the Wright Motorsport Nissan Pulsar GTI. David Wright was expected to be a threat, but it never happened. Gearbox problems ending their rally in Stage 3. Another Auckland pairing was Cameron Cox and Mike Lawton in the Tyre Power Mitsubishi Evo 3. Gone by Special Stage 3. Fighting over 8th and 9th place overall with Craig Stevens was Brian Weir and Lance Prowse in their Mitsubishi Evo 6. While all around them had problems, for Weir and Prowse a steady and safe rally, and with every point counting in the North Island series, a great start. and Stephen Murray were using their late starting order to good effect, driving the ex-Dave Lachlan PSD Rally Sport Subaru Impreza to 5th overall. The Wakatani man proving he is getting to grips with his new car and getting better with every outing. Finishing just 5.5 seconds ahead of Brian Weir and claiming 7th overall, even after amassing a 10-second penalty, was Rob Searle and Natasha Oakton in their Total Span Subaru. Another combination that got better in the afternoon stages, or as ahead of them disappeared. They improved from 10th overall after the first publicity stage to finish 3 spots higher by the close of play. The last official finisher of the Halilites International Rally of Whangarei was the Mitsubishi Evo 6 of Piran Pingai and Steve Walker. This lower hut pairing in the ex-Evan O'Leary car are obviously serious about their Rally Extreme, making the long journey to Whangarei. The next round, a lot closer to home. Another pairing to have problems was Brian Terry and Brendan Olsen, the Toyota MR2 out with a blown motor in Stage 3. Yet another combination with a DNF by their names, Adam Birch and Tim Hamilton in their Mitsubishi. They flung the car off the road in Special Stage 3. So Brad Ayling makes a fantastic debut in Rally Extreme by taking the win from Matt Jensen, with Anton Meyer 3rd and Brendan Oakton 4th. First two-wheel drive car was Grant Liston. The second North Island round of the Rally Extreme Challenge was held as part of the Trust House Racetech Wairarapa Rally. Reasonably dry conditions and testing roads met the competitors as they headed away from the start. Ahead, 120 kilometres of special stages. Seated first on the road, round 1 winner Brad Ayling. A dream debut would not have a fairy tale ending for the son of ex-champion David. Ayling Jr. off the road and out of the rally on Special Stage 4. Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation, and only her second outing as a co-driver, started just as they had done in Whangarei in round 1. Fast. Second in Stage 1, they went on to win the next 5, before again finishing second to a rejoining Brad Ayling and second again in the final stage to David Lachlan. He won the rally by 43.7 seconds. Ended on both days of competition, they had to retire on leg 1 due to brake failure. To win an Extreme, more than making up for that. Seated third on the road in the Rally Extreme Challenge was Anton Meyer and Dave Davenport in their Spy Optics Subaru. Not quite able to match the pace of the front runners, their focus shifted to gaining points. A fine third in Whangarei and a 5th here meant that the Auckland pairing would leave the Trust House Racetrack Rally of Wairarapa with the outright lead in the 4-wheel drive section of the North Island Rally Extreme Challenge.
Dave Davenport.
Matt Jensen was another one that got off to a great start in Whangarei, chasing firstly Kingsley Jones and the eventual winner Brad Ayling home to finish second. That now a distant memory. He crashed out on Special Stage 2. Also looking to make Whangarei a distant memory were the Clendons, Peter and Kath. An engine failure meant no points for the Masterton couple in round 1. What a difference a few weeks make. With their gallant VR4 back to its best and a fair bit of local knowledge on board, they won Stage 1, the 14.8 kilometre Dags Road. Lost the overall lead to Jones in 2 by 4.5 seconds and dropped out of the top 3 stage times, with the 5th best clocking in the Central Mangaoni stage. By service, they were still second overall. Third and 4, they struck problems in 5, which dropped them to 4th overall, a position they would hold until rally's end. You had to have your wits about you if you were spectating during this Trust House Racetech Wairarapa Rally, because you were watching 3 rallies in 1. Rally Extreme on the Sunday, the New Zealand Championship Rally on both days, and also the Fram Filters Rally. Again, competed for on just the Sunday. But for the Clendons, who we ride with here, it was all about Rally Extreme. It had rained earlier on the week in the Wairarapa, but as you can see from these shots, the road conditions were fine. One of the oldest cars in the field, this was a fantastic result for the Masterton couple and bodes well for the rest of their season. After engineering the campaign of last year's North Island standout Callum McGuinness, Dave Lachlan was back behind the wheel here in Wairarapa. A great start saw him in a pitched battle with the Clendons over second and third overall. By stage 5 of the 8-stage rally, Lachlan and co-driver Sarah Matthewson had gained the ascendancy over Clendon and held second overall. And try as they might, which meant a second and a win on the last stage, could not bridge the 43-second gap to Jones. Not bad in a borrowed car, he could ill afford to push too hard. Making a welcome return to the top-class rallying scene was past Group A champion of New Zealand, Wayne Pittams. Pittams and co-driver Shane Eaton were the other car in that battle with Lachlan and the Clendons. Starting a little cautiously, by stage 3 he had made his presence felt, nipping at the top 3 stage times. In stage 5, when the Clendons could only manage 10th overall in the 14.9 kilometre test, Pittams was second quickest and leapfrogged up the order to third overall, which he held until the rally's end. After recording their best ever result with a 5th place at round 1, the only way was up for Michael and Stephen Murray. Unfortunately, it also meant up, over and out. They were gone by special stage 2. Stage 10 was a bit of a rally graveyard. Not only was this where Emma Gilmore fell off the National Series and where extreme standout Brad Ayling left the road, it also caught Struan Robertson. Just as they had been at Whangarei in round 1 of the North Island Rally Extreme, the evergreen combination of Grant Liston and Rob Scott and their Honda Civic Type R was just too good for the rest of the class. It was interesting to compare times. On Barton's line, the longest test, Liston and Scott finished in 13.53 seconds. Mark Tapper, fastest in the two-wheel drive national field, was just 7 seconds faster. Interesting too that he beat the man who brought Hondas to rallying in this country, Dave Strong, normally a two-wheel drive standout. While Liston and Scott had it pretty much their own way, the competition is getting closer. Now with the standard gearbox in his Nissan after the failure in Whangarei, David Wright and Dana Brooks were second in Rally Extreme two-wheel drive. And like Liston before them, putting minutes into some of their four-wheel drive competitors. Down one spot from round 1 to third overall in two-wheel drive was Auckland's Craig Stevens and Chris Alexander and their Mark II Escort. The battle for second in two-wheel drive a real beaut, with both cars playing turn and turnabout on stage time. The crucial move coming for Wright on special stage 8. Cox and Reese Harrison had come south looking for better results from round 2, and they got it. Splitting the two-wheel drive battlers, Liston and Wright, they recorded a 7th overall for their efforts in a car that should know the roads. It's the ex-Chris Rambo Ramsey and Richard Mason Mitsubishi Evo 3. Bearing the scars of a couple of offs, Wairarapa was a great result for the Auckland student. If the car's for sale, why not show it off to potential buyers? Maybe that was the thoughts going through the head of Tony Burrows and his Subaru Impreza. He and co-driver Graham Swan brought the car home in 11th overall, 5 minutes behind leader Jones, and more importantly for the resale value, without a scratch. Prowse and their Clan Kiwi Racing Shook Engineering Evo 6 came home in 9th place overall. Taranaki pair faring best in the later stages of the rally, counting top 5 stage times in 4 Cliff Road and 5 Kopiko Piko. So the Trust House Race Tech Rally of Wairarapa sees a win for Kingsley Jones. Second place, David Lachlan, and in third, a returning Wayne Pittams. Fourth place was Peter and Kath Clendon. In two-wheel drive, Grant Liston managed 6th overall, whilst in second in that class was David Wright in the Nissan. Round 3 of the North Island Rally Extreme Challenge was the Timona Warehousing Rally of Hawke's Bay. Festivities started at night at the Art Deco capital of the world, Napier. We took a chance to catch up with the leading challengers in the Extreme Series.
It'd be nice to keep holding first place, but the points are run a little bit differently. You come to a shootout situation in Rally Extreme, and well, we're leading it now, but we'll see. We hopefully qualify, and then Nelson and Pai here will tell, and hopefully we're used to the car by then, and then pedal to the metal then.
We did really well at Whangarei. Had a bit of bad luck at Wairarapa, bit of suspension damage. So our times have been good and consistent. So we're just looking to repeat that down here in Napier. First time down here, so it'll be exciting anyway. But we'll go hard.
It's come down here primarily armed for a wet rally with sort of mud tyres, thinking that it could be that. Not to say I haven't got tyres that'll suit the dry, but yeah, it may be, if we're still in a bit of a battle for the last 2 stages, we mightn't have the exact right tyres for the hard, dry, fast stuff, but we'll see how we go.
And now you'll obviously be going to Nelson. What are you expecting for that?
Well, I haven't done Nelson ever, so I mean, having said that, this rally here at Hawke's Bay I did in 1998, so that was 9 years ago. But I've never done Nelson. My co-driver Rob Scott did it last year, so I'll be trying to glean as much information off him as I can about the stages. I believe it's very hard on tyres. I have got the entry form in the mail, and reading about the stages, they sounded really good. I like faster flowing roads to suit my driving style in the car, so that's what it appears to be, so I'm looking forward to it.
It hasn't been too bad really. We got off to a good start up in Whangarei, which we weren't expecting, but then down in Masterton it went a bit ugly and we didn't finish there, so basically got to try and get through these next 2 events.
It had been 2 months since the last Rally Extreme round in the Wairarapa, and the crews couldn't wait to get started. David Ayling's son Brad was seated number 1 on the road and took stage 1, the 31.16 kilometre Waitara. A great start for the young Subaru pilot who won his first rally in this car, the Whangarei Rally. Seated second in the extreme field was Auckland's Matt Jensen and Brett Wright in their Santa Rosa Mitsubishi. Nearly 40 seconds off the pace of stage 1 winner Ayling, he bounced back to win stage 2, the first pass through the Mohaka Forest at 22.09 kilometres. Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation were tied on points with Brad Ayling coming into round 3. But the win in the Wairarapa Rally was now a distant memory for the Aucklander. Another of the crews to complain about brake wear after the run through the valley in 1, his morning stage score read 3, 2 and 4, and he lay second overall, just 7 seconds adrift. Car 41 was the Mitsubishi VR4 of Peter and Kathleen Clendon, fourth in their home roads of Wairarapa, but a DNF at round 1 in Whangarei had cost them valuable points. A good result here would see them into the top 5 and into the finals. 4th and 5th respectively in 1 and 2, they won 3 to make them 3rd overall for the morning, 9 seconds adrift of Jones. Another rally, another car for PSD's David Lachlan and Sarah Coatsworth. A good 2nd overall in the Wairarapa Rally behind Kingsley Jones and yet another borrowed car. This was the competition debut of their brand new Subaru, and they had got off to a flyer. Their report card read 2, 4, 3rd and 3rd. They led the rally from stage 2, but engine problems meant it was an early shower after 5. Wayne Pittams was back into rallying after a lengthy break and at the wheel of car number 36. Fifth in one, but third in two, and third again in three. Mohaka coach at 17.23 kilometres saw Pittams, an ex-New Zealand champion, and co-driver Shane Eaton, fourth overall after the morning's adventures. Another with a good debut, fourth in Wairarapa, Pittams with a good result here would book himself a spot in the final. More than an outside chance was the series leader Anton Meyer, with one proviso. Could he keep the Spy Optics North Face Subaru on the road? Another crash, this time on the black stuff at Taranaki, meant another hasty rebuild for the crew. A shocking start for the Aucklander. He was 16th in one, not much better in two. By morning's end, lay 11th overall. The Rally Extreme two-wheel drive class in the North Island has been a happy hunting ground for the vastly experienced pairing of Grant Liston and Rob Scott. What looked like anything but business as usual for the Avis North Shore Honda ended in special stage one with a rear gearbox failure. Listo and co-driver Scott will make it to the finals. Craig Stevens and Chris Alexander in their Mark II Escort fared little better. Hoping to keep Liston and co honest, he was doing just that in stage one, finishing just 10 seconds behind. But by two, the start of an electrical problem that would see his rally end in three was already troubling him. David Wright and Dana Brooks, who we ride with here, were now the orphans of the Rally Extreme Challenge. The two-wheel drive class decimated here in Hawke's Bay. With both Liston and Stevens gone before the dew had dried on the roads, it meant a lonely battle for Wright. But lonely didn't mean slow. He was fastest of the two-wheel drive cars through 1 and 2, and he inherited the lead in stage 3 and never lost it. Problems had halted the development and the results for David Wright and his Nissan in his previous rallies. But if we listen closely as we ride with him here, you can hear that everything is as it should be, and no gearbox problems to speak of. Hailing from the winterless north, although that phrase is probably redundant about now, are Brendan Oakton and co-driver Anthony Mabbitt. Fresh off a 7th placing in the Fram North Island Series 4th round, this, as well as being a National, Extreme and the Hawke's Bay Rally, was round 5 of the Fram Series, just inside the top 10 in 9th after the morning stages. Brian Weir and Lance Prowse had nothing but bad luck in Hawke's Bay. Tied at 4th equal on points with Matt Jensen going into the Tamana Warehousing Rally, he was 13th fastest through 1, the 31.16 kilometre Waitra, but never came out of 2. Servicing, unlike the morning stages, was a wet affair, but for the top teams it was a chance to change car setups and make the all-important tyre choices for the afternoon roads. Ruth Oldfield and Rick Chambers in their Nissan Pulsar 4-wheel drive are on their first full season of driving, and at the 3rd round of the North Island Rally Extreme Challenge, as part of the Tamana Warehousing Rally, picked up their first top 10 finish even after rolling. A cautious run through the 7 stages, stage 8 was cancelled, rewarded Anton Meyer with 9th overall in Extreme. The series points leader coming into this, round 3, dropped down to 3rd with 1 round, the notorious Daybreaker in the Manawa 2 still to come. With all the retirements after service, including rally leader at the time Dave Lachlan and Wayne Pittams, Tony Burrows now jumped up to 8th in his shower shop Impreza. Just outside this top 10 stage times in the morning, the pace increased in the afternoon. His best results, 8th, coming in the last 2 stages. Seventh overall in the Rally Extreme Challenge went to Brendan Oakton and Anthony Mabbitt in their Subaru Impreza. Their worst stage result was stage 1, where they finished a lowly 15th among the extreme competitors. His best, stage 6, the second pass through the infamous Mohaka coach, where they were 6th overall. The fight might have gone out of the class, but the class sure hadn't gone out of the man. David Wright, who had put the gearbox gremlins of the past behind him, not only won the two-wheel drive class, OK, he was the only finisher, but more creditably than that, finished 6th overall, with stage times very rarely out of the top 5. Best placed of the Northland drivers was Whangarei's Rob Searle in 5th. Searle and co-driver Natasha Oakton, sister of Brendan, who finished 7th, never put a foot wrong and brought the car to the rally's end with only scratches and bumps and minus a wing mirror. The icing on the cake, their best rally result ever for the pairing. To prove there's plenty of life in the old girl yet, 4th overall was the ex-Richard Mason, Chris Rambo Ramsey Mitsubishi Evo 3 of Cameron Cox and Michael Lawton. The Mainstream Freight Group team in their first full season of Extreme were only just out of the top 10 stage time once in the 7-stage 150-kilometre rally. Remembering that Stage 8, Triple Bridges, was cancelled. A great result for the Remuera student. Even with suspension and reoccurring brake problems, there was no stopping Brad Ayling and new co-driver Malcolm Reid from taking 3rd place. Sure, there were a few retirements around him on the scoreboard, Wayne Pittams with an engine fire, Dave Lachlan with turbo trouble, but Ayling had driven a heady race, only pushing as hard as safety and the conditions would allow. Driving around the problems they faced. Kingsley Jones is one of the fastest drivers around, and his sideways full-on attack is always spectacular to watch. Never out of the top 5 stage times in the morning, and never outside the top 2, including wins on 5 and 6. It was the mid-stages 3 and 4 that cost him the 18 seconds he lost to the Clendons. With 1 round to go, he is assured of a finals berth. Another finals bound is the pairing of Peter and Kathleen Clendon, driving what must be the oldest competitive car in the field. This Wairarapa pairing showed that consistency wins rallies. When David Lachlan stopped 18 kilometres into stage 4, the Clendons pounced, taking the overall lead and never losing it. Their win, along with 4th at their home rally, almost guarantees them a place in the finals with 1 round to go. So it is the Clendons that take the win here in Hawke's Bay, from Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation in 2nd place and Brad Ayling and Malcolm Reid in 3rd. 4th place went to Cameron Cox, and in 5th it's Whangarei's Rob Searle. Two-wheel drive was the sole domain of David Wright, and if we have a look at the points, it's interesting with 1 more qualifying round still to come. It's the Daybreaker and you'll see it here.
See you next week for more Retro Motorsport, and thanks for watching.
We're back on board with the circuit here at Wairarapa. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers and through the smoke we can't.